Well, today's the last day of March, isn't it? It is today's Thursday, March the 28th, and I can tell you, that quarter flew by, man.
It really did.
Just gone.
It's also the last trading day of the month. If we have another up day, we have had a extended up day sessions for every one of the indexes.
Yes, and 20 records on the S&P 500 this year alone.
You reported in our other show an interesting spread between companies that we get research from where they speculated the S&P would be by the end of the year.
It's all over the board.
The range to me was really kind of head scratching. Share that with us.
Because the J.P. Morgan is predicting that the S&P 500, which currently is trading at 52.31, I believe is the number, but J.P. Morgan, who very reputable, who we like their research, but they're predicting a 4,200 on the S&P 500.
A decline.
1,300 points.
Whereas we have on the high side another 5%.
Oppenheimer's at 5,500.
Right, which would be a 5% upside.
So it's all across the board. And you know, there's very reputable firms that are close to what J.P. Morgan is predicting. And then there are others that are in lockstep with where Oppenheimer is. So that somebody's going to be wrong, and you don't want to be that wrong when you are doing these types of prognostications.
I saw where this morning a journalist came out with an article about the Magnificent Seven, and they were calling it now the Lag Seven. And I smiled with a little sense of how fickle the market is, but really how it illustrates the ups and downs of the market in which we're in. The Magnificent Seven, as you know, has been the Apples and the Teslas and the Googles and on. But the Lag Seven, because of what has happened to Apple and Tesla, is dragging that piece down. It all really says that the market goes up and down. And as you pointed out in a discussion we have, it very well could be a buying opportunity, not to say that you should go out and buy these.
Just because they're down.
They're down. But it's also not to say because the market might have turned a little bit on them that it is something that's not part of your portfolio. But technology is going to be part of
the good news is that we're seeing strength in other sectors,
right,
other than just seven, tech-oriented stocks. So we're seeing financials that are doing well. Energy, unfortunately, is doing well because prices are up 20 some odd percent.
$81 WTI this morning.
That's right. It was at $64 a barrel back on the middle of December. So we've seen a huge run up in the cost of energy. As I said, financials, healthcare is curbed a little bit, but it's still a good place to be. But we're just seeing more breadth in the market, and that makes me a little bit more optimistic about markets for the remainder of the year.
Many of you commented and thanked us for talking about the scams. I'll share quickly another scam attempt this week. I got a call from someone that identified themselves as Medicare, and they wanted to verify if I got my card, and if I did, would you please verify my number? It's a scam, folks. They don't call. They don't need to ask your number if they know your number.
Were they trying to get your Social Security number?
It was ultimately working towards that. That's what it was working towards. So anytime anybody calls and says we're some official group, we need numbers, just hang up on them. Blow the whistle in the mic in the phone set to blast their ears, and then hang up. Don't give out
numbers. Tax time is one of the biggest scam periods in the year, and it's because so much data is being traded between your CPA and yourself, and that's why we're seeing the scams go up. It happens every year during this time.
We're working really hard to be sure our balances are correct. We're moving towards, as we said a week or so ago, that 50-50 balance. If that's in the right risk quadrant for you, we're still holding a little more in short-term bonds than intermediate, but we know that switch is coming, and we're watching what the Fed is doing, and they say they're going to decrease rates probably summertime, second half of the year. So we're in good shape right now. It's Easter weekend. Take time out to enjoy it and understand what it means to you and your family.
And you may get sticker shock if you go to the grocery store and buy chocolate.
Yeah, you might.
You might.
You just might.
It's up over $10,000 a ton for cocoa.
So have a great, safe, and enjoyable Easter. Thank you so much for y'all and being part of the HMC family. Always remember, it is your money.
And your money matters. Be safe this weekend, folks.
See you next week.